Hello YouTube! This is my day 12 drawing for Inktober. For day 12 I wanted to draw something fun and whimsical and under the sea based. I wanted to use Inktober as an excuse to get more experience drawing different animals I normally wouldn't. But by day 12, just drawing a seahorse seemed like it would be a bit boring. So I gave him a cute saddle and added a scuba diver riding him. Whether she's a tiny diver or he's a giant seahorse is totally up to your interpretation. I'm happy with how this drawing turned out in the end, but I think to produce a better drawing with a scuba diver, I might need to actually do more research on scuba diving and how all the breathing stuff works. There's a nerdy part of me that wants my art to be functional and accurate. With this Inktober piece, I was trying to meld the real world with the fake, but to me the fake is a giant seahorse. It's no excuse to let myself become too inaccurate with the breathing equipment. Like for day 11, I did my initial outlines with a thin line with the intention to thicken it up as needed. I think to draw better lines, it's better to do them in one confident stroke, but I'm still learning what lines should be thick where. I'd like to build up to the point where as I ink, I choose line thickness that way. But for now, I need the visual training wheels of seeing all the black inks in a thin line before I decide what's going where. I didn't add a background to this because I knew I was going to put a lot of effort into adding texture and shading to my seahorse. With him and the girl filling up the whole page and centering it, and just how they're drawn, I felt like they could stand alone. If I could change anything, I just would have moved it down a bit more. Her head is a little bit too close to the top of the page. As I looked at reference pictures, I saw that seahorses have a lot of ridges and curves, which isn't necessarily how I picture them in my head. If I'm honest, when I picture a seahorse, I think of that character from the anime Fruits Basket who turns into a seahorse when he's touched by a girl. Though it's been so long since I've seen that anime, I may rewatch it and find he has more ridge than I remember, I guess. With the addition of the scuba diver, I think it would have been easy for me to make the seahorse more cartoony, but trying to draw a seahorse that looked more like a real one felt like it would be more of a challenge to me. I would have to put more thought into what textures go where and what spots should be shaded in more to suggest the ridges that the seahorse has on its body. This video is clearly sped up, but shading the seahorse took so long because of my decision to use all the dots to play a big part in creating texture. I notice I'm starting to develop the habit of using cross-hatching to suggest shadow, and then little dots to suggest form and texture. But using the dots to suggest his ridges just looked right to me. It looked better. Even in the spots where I cross-hatch on his chest, I still go over a lot of it with dots. I made the horse's reins black to draw attention to them. The Seahorse is so textured, and I knew that the scuba diver's hoses would be black. I thought making the Seahorse's belts black would create more unity between the two characters. I need to find a more artsy way of saying it just looks good, I think. I used dots to lay out where the ridges would be, then followed those lines. Where the ridges went in, I would add more dots closer together and throw in some bigger ones so it would look like a darker spot. I also kept conscious of not trying to go too hyper-realistic because my scuba diver is quite cartoony. She would look very odd on a super realistic seahorse. You know, if I had the ability to do that. I was originally planning to leave her unshaded, but once Mr. Seahorse was colored up, it would just look lazy to me as an end piece. As I started filling in her equipment and adding cross-hatching to her, though, I felt like the Seahorse was fading into the background a bit too much, so I gave him an additional outline. I also felt like the bold black outline around him brought him a little bit closer to her cartooniness, and made their two characters seem a little bit more in harmony to me. I don't have plans to color every Inktober drawing I've done, but if there's any you'd like to see colored, let me know in the comment section or send me a message. I'm definitely going to color this one with Copic markers. I'm quite happy with how this turned out, and I liked how there's so much texture but the thick lines kept everything separated. I want to try and duplicate this style with other animals and characters. And this is the final drawing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel to see more. Bye, YouTube.